I want to talk to you about the best business credit cards for pre-approval this year, and we are talking about pre-approval or instant approval, okay? So here are the rankings I want you to pay attention to. The very first business card I want you to really think about is the Ramp corporate card. And this is a great business credit card for pre-approval or instant approval. And this is the fastest, easiest way to manage expenses. No personal credit checks or final guarantee, so no personal guarantees really are needed here. And what we love about the Ramp corporate card is that it really goes above giving you a business credit card. It really offers a lot of flexibility, so that's really good. And now, what about the card details here? You have a corporate card and spend management platform. So Ramp is not just a business credit card, it is also a spend management platform. So this is great for startups, this is great for established businesses. If you are trying to really, let's say, instill a layer of clarity in your finances, in your business finances, you will love a Ramp corporate card a lot, okay? And so you have, in terms of the benefits, you have a 1.5% cashback rewards on purchases, unlimited employee cards with custom spending limits. So that's really good in terms of flexibility. You have accounts payable software, and you have a tool that uses business revenue to determine eligibility and credit limits. So that's kind of cool because it really ignores your personal credit or your business credit. As long as you can really take care of the cash inflows and cash outflows, you should be really good to go, and Ramp will consider your application. What are the pros and cons here when you think about Ramp? The pros first: no annual fees or interest, custom spend and vendor controls, you have high credit limits, and you have automatic receipt matching and expense categorization. So that's really cool. That's really what makes Ramp a great spend management platform. Okay, what about the cons here? This card is only available to corporations, LLCs, and LPs. So LPs, limited partnerships. If you are a sole proprietorship, even if you are a business, even if you have a DBA, you will not qualify for this Ramp corporate card. As a charge card, balance cannot be carried monthly. So this goes back to what I said about your cash inflows and cash outflows. So you got to be you got to be liquid, okay? And another detriment here is that you must have anywhere from $25,000 to $75,000 in a business bank account to qualify, because Ramp just wants to make sure that in terms of liquidity, you are really well set. Next, you have Capital One Spark 2 Miles. So if you're looking for the best business credit cards for pre-approval or instant approval, you want to think about Capital One Spark 2X Miles. And the card actually is great because it offers a 2 miles per dollar spent without any restrictions or maximum limits, okay? And you don't have to have an existing relationship with Capital One Bank. No, you can be a regular customer and a regular business customer, and you can just be a cardholder. There are no annual fees for the first year. This is an important element. And you have a welcome bonus of 50,000 miles if you spend $4,500 within the first 3 months of opening an account. So 50,000 miles and $4,500. And the cool thing about this card is that if you are approved for the card, you can call Capital One's customer support to see if you qualify for an instant virtual credit card. So that's really good, especially if you have employees on the road and you want to give them a virtual card number, credit card number. And if you do, you won't have to wait for your physical card to arrive in the mail. So this is an important element to think about. So what are the pros and cons here? When you think about this card, the pros first: you have unlimited 2x miles on purchases across categories, so various categories. You have unlimited 5x miles on rental cars and hotel bookings. But those bookings should be made through Capital One Travel to actually qualify. And you have an introductory offer of 50,000 miles. This is really cool. And what about the cons here? Well, you have a high $95 annual fee. As I said a little earlier, the first year, this $95 is actually waived. So this means what? It means there's a high annual fee. So you got to really spend on the card to make sure that you are offsetting the cost of the card in the first place. There is no introductory APR period, and you have fewer perks than other business cards. But the card actually is really great in terms of approval rates, and the APR is kind of decent too, though. I mean, Discover is charging you 26.24%, but this card is great in terms of business credit cards for pre-approval or instant approval. So this is just fantastic. Next, you have the First National Bank of Omaha, the FBNO, and basically the Business Edition Secured MasterCard. This is a secured business credit card, but the cool thing is that it allows you to actually build credit, okay? The FNBO, not the FBNO, FNBO is really good to report to Dun & Bradstreet, to Experian Business, and to Equifax Business. And so this is really good. And so basically, you are able to find out whether you pre-qualify for FNBO secure credit card in under a minute on their website. You can choose your credit limit to set on your card as long as the limit is between $2,000 and $100,000. And annual fees and variable APR rate are not very competitive, but it's a good choice if you are looking for a secured card that can allow you to actually build credit, build business credit, but also build personal credit, okay? And so what are the pros and cons of this card first? So the pros first, you have a high credit limits. The card doesn't require a good credit score because it is a secured card. This is your own money, by the way. And interest can be earned on the security deposit. What about the cons here? Well, there is a $39 annual fee. A deposit equal to 110% of the credit limit is required, which means that basically if you want to have a $2,000 as a credit limit, you got to deposit $2,200. Okay, there's always a 110%. And this is not an unsecured card option. But the cool thing is it's really, really great in terms of helping you build credit, build business credit, but also personal credit over time, because FBNO actually reports to Dun & Bradstreet, as I said earlier. And so you're able to actually gradually increase, not FBNO, FNBO. FNBO actually helps you increase your paydebt score over time, okay? So by reporting to Dun & Bradstreet, to Experian Equifax, and to Experian Equifax, you can increase your Intelli score, your paydebt score as well. But watch for the APR though. This is not a card that you want to really carry balances on, because they charging you a 25.99% every single month that you are having this card. So this is not really an interesting thing. Now, how do you actually? But this card is flexible. So unlike the Capital One or the Ramp corporate card, this card will actually take you in, even if you are a sole proprietorship, okay? So you don't have to be necessarily incorporated to actually benefit from this card. No, you can be a sole proprietorship and still qualify. Next, you have Capital on Tap Business Credit Card. Capital on Tap Business Credit Card. We have actually reviewed on this card on this show before, but what we love about the card is that this card actually approves the business credit cards within 48 hours of applying. So this is kind of cool. So this speed, this speed is really cool. If you are approved, you will get a virtual card right away, so you can start spending before your physical cards arrive. So in terms of business credit cards for pre-approval or instant approval, this is a fantastic item, okay, in your wallet. And cards offer universal cashback rewards on all purchases with business specific features. You also have 24/7 customer support available by phone and email. So if you want to contact customer service, you have a question, you can talk, not a problem. And what are the pros and cons of this card here? The pros first: no annual fee. The cashback is actually universal across purchase categories, so there is no need to actually no need to have a rotating categories. No, and you also have a fast approval process. Okay, this is really fantastic. What about the cons here? Well, you must have good to excellent credit in some cases to qualify. And you must have monthly business revenue exceeding $2,500 to apply. So you can't really qualify for a Capital on Tap if you're a startup, unless you have an existing relationship with the bank and at a personal level, and you can show that your personal checking account is really well funded. And so because what they really pay attention to is liquidity here. They want you to make sure that you are liquid before you apply for their Capital on Tap business credit card. Now, there's no annual fee, which is really great, because the last thing you want is to start paying an annual fee on a business credit card. So there's no annual fee. And also the APR is kind of decent. The APR is 15.5%. So 50.5%. You want to compare and contrast that to what the FNBO is charging. They're charging 26%. So you have a delta of nearly of 1 to 2. So this is kind of important, especially if you are trying to build credit but also manage your cash inflows and cash outflows at the same time. Next, you want to think about Marriott Bonvoy Business American Express card. So if you're looking for business credit cards for pre-approval or instant approval, this card is a fantastic card, the Marriott Bonvoy. And in terms of card details, you have a business credit card for frequent travelers who prefer Marriott Bonvoy hotels. I mean, you got to have a certain affiliation or certain affection, if you will, for this hotel chain to actually go for this specific branded card. If you meet all the requirements, including good to excellent credit, in most cases, you could be approved near instantly. And this card actually offers rewards specific to Marriott chain hotels, including a free night award annually and complimentary Marriott Bonvoy Gold Elite status. So this is really a branded card, and you have to really be an aficionado or aficionada of the chain itself, of this hotel chain, to actually be drawn to this card in the first place. So what are the pros and cons of this card here? The pros first, you have 125,000 introductory bonus points if you spend $8,000 in the first 6 months, which is totally possible. If you travel a lot for business, of course, you got to be able to spend $8,000 in the first 6 months. And you have a Marriott Gold Elite status, which is awarded with card ownership. And you have 1 free night's stay at a Marriott hotel every single year. So that's really cool in terms of the ancillary benefits. And what about the cons here? Well, there is a $150 annual fee. So something you really to think about, because you need to spend to actually be able to recoup this fee in the first place. And so the rewards are less valuable for non-Marriott hotel stays. So if you were to go elsewhere, that's really, you are on your own, so to speak. And the APR is a little high too, though. I mean, we think that 20.99% for APR on this card is a little high. But hey, listen, in addition to the $150 annual fee, you got to manage this card actually thoroughly to make sure that you actually, your cash inflows and cash outflows are going to help you actually use the card to increase your business credit. But overall, this is a great card. They help you also in terms of tracking your expenses, so you know exactly what's happening, and you can actually upgrade or downgrade the card if you think that a better card is elsewhere. So let me talk to you the overview here. So when we talk about the business credit cards, pre-approval or instant approval, let's go back a little bit to the origin, so to speak. Okay, what is a pre-approved credit card? So when a credit card provider says that you are pre-approved, it means that you have met the initial requirements to become a cardholder. Simple as that. However, this doesn't mean that you can go ahead and sign up immediately. When considering your pre-approval, credit card companies use information about you and your company that's available to the public. They also may do a soft credit pull, which doesn't affect your credit score. However, the hard credit inquiry and underwriting process doesn't start until you complete the application process. At that point, a lender will take an in-depth look at your financials and actually decide if they are willing to offer you a credit card. So even though, let's say, you have received a pre-approval, you may be declined for a credit card. However, being pre-approved typically means that your chances of approval are higher. And so do we have a pre-approval for business credit cards? Yes. Some credit card providers will offer you pre-approval for a business credit card, as you saw into this conversation. This might happen if your bank notices that you've been spending a lot on a monthly basis. So pre-approval doesn't mean that you will actually qualify for the card, though. Your application will typically ask for your business name, revenue, and EIN number. If you can't provide any of this information, or your revenue or credit score is not high enough, you might not be approved. And what about the credit card pre-approval, guaranteed, and instant approval? Well, the thing is that there are 3 different approval processes: pre-approval, guaranteed, and instant approval. And so pre-approval, for instance, pre-approval business credit cards use public data and soft credit pools to tell us if you are pre-approved. While pre-qualifying is not a guaranteed approval, it really indicates a higher likelihood of approval upon completing the full credit card application. What about guaranteed? Well, guaranteed business credit cards are designed for consumers with limited credit history, fair credit, or bad credit who experience challenges with approval. So these are typically a secured business credit cards options and require security deposit that becomes your credit limits. And they're also notorious for having much higher interest rates and also unreasonable fee structures, But there is also a way to build your company's credit score if you are a newer business or have experienced financial hardships in the past. You also have instant approval. So as you would imagine, instant approval indicates that you are likely to receive a credit decision instantly. In most cases, you will know if you got those cards within a minute or two. Although there is no guarantee of approval, that's unless you apply for a guaranteed instant approval credit card. Nonetheless, many prime offers have instant approval capabilities but are difficult to qualify for, especially if you have had problems getting approved for credit cards in the past. So this is an important element to think about. Now, what credit scores is needed for pre-approval? It really depends, but generally a good personal credit score of 650 to 800 is actually good for you to have to be approved fast. So when we talk about the business credit cards, pre-approval or instant approval, you need to understand that there are actually drawbacks to those traditional credit card companies that offer instant approval, right? So despite the benefits of being approved quickly, instant approval credit cards are not always the right choice for your business. While they may be easier to qualify for, they are typically coupled with high interest rates, high fees, and lower credit limits compared to other cards. And so for instance, the high interest rates. So if the balance on your credit card carries over, let's say, from 1 month to another, your lender will charge you interest, right? In this case, interest immediately becomes the biggest fee associated with your credit card debt, as your interest rate is likely going to be high. The best interest rates are typically reserved for credit cards that are most difficult to get. Lenders accept less risk when they lend money to those with the best credit scores, credit utilization rates, incomes, and financial stability. That's why credit cards have an approval process to begin with. On the other hand, when a lender makes a credit card easy to get, they accept a higher risk of loss. As a result, they increase interest rates to ensure they are compensated for this additional risk. You also have high fees. So since easy approval credit cards present a higher risk to lenders, those offering them typically charge higher fees. So before you apply for one of those cards, you should look at the fee structure. So annual fees. So the majority of easy approval credit cards come with annual fees. You also have cash advance fees. So most credit card companies charge cash advance fees. However, the fees that we have seen is that the fees are typically higher with instant approval credit cards. Also, cash advances are usually billed at a higher interest rates than what your credit card already has. Cash advanced interest rates are also usually nearly double what would be considered usury rates in other circumstances. And you also have other fees, okay? And you got to really also think about damage to your credit. If you have to use your personal credit score to apply for an instant approval credit card, you might end up damaging your credit in the long run. If your business becomes insolvent and can't cover its obligation, you will personally be on the hook for any debt that's owed. So it's usually better to keep your personal finances separate. And so banks and lenders are going to make sure that you pay back your debts. So always be careful when it comes to risking your personal financial stability in order to access capital for your company. You also got to think about limited credit limits. Okay, this is another area also you have to pay attention to how much you're spending in the first place. So what's the bottom line here? In today's conversation, I'll share with you business credit cards for pre-approval or instant approval. So I give you the rankings, the overview, and now the bottom line. The rankings, you have Ramp, you have Capital One Spark 2X Miles, First National Bank of Omaha Business Edition, Capital on Tap Business Credit Card, and Marriott Bonvoy Business American Express. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.